a community where seniors can be independent at home. The PACE program offers seniors just that, with support and care letting seniors honor their individuality. Let's go on the record.
From WPBF 25, this is On the Record with Nathalie Pozo.
Good morning. PACE stands for Program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly. Palm Beach PACE is all-inclusive care that provides medical and social services support while promoting independence. Here to tell us all about the program this morning is Paola Pupano-Nisbet, the Vice President of Community-Based Services. Paola, good morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So tell us more about the PACE program and what kind of services are available.
Sure. The PACE program is a national model. Essentially, it is a comprehensive medical and long-term care program that helps support the senior to be able to stay at home, to maximize their independence as long as possible, safely. So we provide services such as medical care. We are also the Part D plan, their pharmacy, so all their medications are provided and procured through the PACE program. But the best part as well as medical is the long-term care services they receive. A lot of the seniors who wants to stay at home and need a lot of support need home care services. They may need transportation to attend their doctor's appointments. They may need socialization, so daycare is also a service that we provide. So it's really a comprehensive program. We wrap around all the needs of the senior. Sometimes nutrition is an issue, so we make sure that we have a dietitian that evaluates the member to make sure that they get the proper meals, the proper support in order to stay healthy.
So who is eligible for the program?
So the national program has the same eligibility across all the states. You have to be 55 and over. You have to meet a nursing home level of care. Even though our members don't live in a nursing home, but you have to meet that level of care. You need assistance, whether there's a cognition issue or whether you have a physical issue that keeps you from being independent. You have to live in the area where the PACE program operates. So each PACE program has certain zip codes that they're allowed to provide services in. So as long as you have a permanent address in that area, you are eligible. And you have to be safe to be in the community. So we help to make sure that you meet those eligibility, and then you can enroll in the program.
And how does the program function? How is it funded?
It is funded through Medicare and Medicaid services. In order for the program to be a no out-of-pocket expense for the member, as long as you qualify for Medicare and Medicaid, that's who funds the program. But there's also a solution for people who don't meet Medicare and Medicaid criteria. There's a private pay option, and it's individualized based on the client and their needs and their financial situation.
And Paola, PACE is unique
Yes.
because of the insurance open enrollment. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So most insurances, because essentially when a member joins PACE, we act as their insurance provider. So we're not only their insurance provider, but we also provide the services, right? Most insurance plans, especially for seniors, you have to wait till open enrollment to change and request to be a member of a new plan. PACE, as long as you qualify, the application gets approved, you can enroll any month of the year. So that's what differs between us and the other HMO plans or Medicare plans.
So you mentioned that you have to live within a certain zip
That's
code.
correct.
Is there what are the zip codes for our area? Not that I expect you to know them all off the top of
Sure.
your head, but what are the areas
Sure.
for
So
us here?
in the state of Florida, our license is for Palm Beach County.
Okay.
We recently received an expansion to also provide services in Martin County. So our Palm Beach PACE program serves the entire Palm Beach County.
Oh, wow.
All of it, from North Jupiter all the way out west to Belle Glade, Pahokee area, all the way down to Boca. And we now recently started serving Martin County as well.
Certain areas of Martin County?
Martin County,
All right,
yes.
okay. So when it comes just to the PACE program, I know you talked a little bit about the funding, but
Yes.
we have some current federal and state budget cuts that we've been hearing about
Yes.
coming out of Washington. Has that impacted the PACE program?
It has not. PACE is unique in the way where, we get allocated slots every year. So at the beginning of the fiscal year, when the state looks at their budget, they know exactly how many slots each PACE program within their state has. So they've already allocated those funds to be provided to help support that program. So once those funds are allocated, it's there. So they don't take it back. So we've been very fortunate that none of those cuts pertain to PACE, and we were able to continue to provide the services to our seniors in the community.
Does PACE partner with any other community organizations here in our community to support seniors?
Absolutely, absolutely. So as a medical provider, you know, we have to partner up with multiple specialist groups. So we have cardiology, you know, neurology, different doctors in the community. We partner up with Meals on Wheels programs, daycare programs in the community, because we want to be sure that aside from coming to our PACE centers, if our clients need to go see someone outside of our, you know, what we have available within our centers, they have that opportunity to do so.
Paola, why are you so passionate about the PACE program?
Because PACE is very interesting, and it's one of those medical models that I see makes sense because we don't have really any red tape. If the whole interdisciplinary team that's part of the PACE program feels that this is what is needed for a member, we just make it happen for them. You know, we don't have to, you know, get permission from any other provider. You know, we just make sure that, you know, our clients have what they need, because our goal is to keep them at home. We want to make sure that they're maximizing their independence and staying healthy at home. Yeah. So I like that. I like the fact that, you know, we can, as a group, you know, we assess, we do evaluations constantly on our members to see what has changed, what has improved, what more services are needed. And if they need it, and we can prove that this is what's necessary to keep them healthy, we make it happen for them.
Independence is key,
Yes.
right, Paola? Thank you so much for
Absolutely.
your time this morning. Coming up, we sit down with the medical director of the PACE program.
You're watching On the Record on WPBF 25.
We continue our conversation this morning with Dr. Julio DeFillo, the medical director with the PACE program. Dr. DeFillo, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. Talk to us just about how healthcare plays a role in the PACE program.
Yeah, so the PACE program is an all-inclusive care for the elder, and so it is for us to take care of people who are getting older. You need a whole team for it, and that includes physicians, nurses, home health aides, physical therapists, which include occupational therapy and rehab, speech therapy, nutritionists. And we have to create that team around that patient. It's what we call patient-centered care. And so the health care that is provided at PACE, it plays a big role, you know, for the older adult, including the physician, who is kind of guiding some of the medical care medications, therapy that are needed, approving consults and things like that. Yeah.
Dr. DeFillo, so you were mentioning so many different aspects of health. You know, I think sometimes when we think of health, you're just thinking about, you know, a certain road, but there's so many different aspects of it, like you just mentioned. So what does that do for someone's health, being able to have all those different resources?
So it makes it a very inclusive program where, you know, when you're treating older adults who have accumulated a lot of restriction in mobility or health diagnoses that affect their overall performance in life, they need this support to keep them healthy. And it could be a home health aide that goes twice a day to their home and provides some of the care so they can get up, bed, have breakfast, and then things like that.
I would think that this also provides a sense of comfort for family members as well, knowing that someone is coming and checking on their loved one.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because sometimes the most difficult to please is the family, because they're really kind of, you know, following through and kind of trying to make their family member be more functional and be happier and be cared for. So PACE program is able to provide that because we have a team. If I'm the physician only prescribing medication, and it's very hard to be sure that they're eating, right?
Right.
Just by prescribing pills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about dementia. We have here in our population high cases of dementia. The PACE program, what are you doing for people who are unfortunately suffering with dementia?
Yeah, so as we know, you know, we're getting closer to some treatment for Alzheimer's disease, which is the most common dementia out there. It's around 70% of the type of dementia out there. But the biggest thing that you can do for cognitive impairment is educating the family and the patient about their deficits so they can start planning for the support system that will keep them healthier and more functional as they get older and the disease progresses.
Do you have patients with early on dementia or Alzheimer's that still want that independence but family is saying we want someone there to help them, but they're not ready to maybe be put anywhere else?
That's an excellent question, because that's our goal really in PACE, is to try to keep the patients as functional as they can in their environment that they want to live in. Some people, unfortunately, some older adults or even younger people with restriction in mobility or cognitive impairment, they don't want to live in a nursing home. They don't want to live in an assisted living facility, and we try to provide all the care that we can at home so they can remain there. At one point, people just thrive in the right environment of care, and they have to move on. But we try as much as we can.
Well, and I would think in the early onset too, it just to be in your environment with things that is definitely maybe more comforting.
In what regard, sorry?
When I'm saying when someone is going through maybe early stages of dementia, having someone from the PACE program there and not changing their environment.
That is correct, exactly, because we have a cohesive approach to caring for them. It's not only about their memory, it's about their mobility, their diseases, medications that they take, and then about their memory issues.
What about technology and artificial intelligence? We're seeing just so much in the medical world when it comes to AI and AI taking part. How is that playing a role?
So there are some patients that we see a big benefit for it, and so we have already something, for example, that we use, Care Coach, which is an avatar that we use in people that have the capacity to use them, and we put these monitors at home so when they can relate to the artificial intelligence avatar. So that's something that we look forward to as it evolves. We also use some type of advancement in technology to monitor the patient vital signs and telemedicine. Yeah.
Why is it so important for you to be involved with the PACE program?
So I'm an internal medicine physician that trained. I did 2 years in geriatric medicine in New England, and so it has been my passion because of all my experience I had with my grandfather when I was growing up. He was kind of my mentor, and then my dad, who was my biggest mentor and coach. And so I always had a respect for the elder, if you can say it that way. I prefer to say older adults just because sometimes, every name has a stigma to it.
Yes, absolutely, I agree.
But when I use the word elder, I'm just thinking about a very wise person that has gotten older and have a community around them taking care of it. Yeah.
I mean, it takes a village, right? When we're little and when we're born, and it takes a village, as we get older as well.
Yes.
Dr. DeFeo, thank you so much for being here with us this morning and for everything you're doing for people here in our community. Coming up next, we speak with a man who is taking part in the PACE program. Welcome back. We're joined now by Steve White, who takes part in the PACE program. Steve, what's it like for you to be a part of this program?
Well, I've been a part of PACE for more than 9 years, and I'm not a person who stays around places that I don't feel welcome. Okay, PACE, I don't really see a way of living without PACE now, because I'm getting older, and as we get older, there's a lot fewer things that we can do, and with the provision of PACE, they provide so much. They provide activities, they provide health care, they provide just comfort when you need comfort. I've been sitting around sometimes feeling a little depressed, like older people do, and one of the staff, and that's the point I want to make, is one of the staff comes up and says, "What's wrong, Steve?" And I say, "Nothing." They say, "Oh, yes, it is." I mean, so that kind of love and that kind of care is important, because we're missing that as we get older a lot of times, and a lot of times people are by themselves, and they have nobody to care for them. So to have somebody and have a program like PACE that is really looking out for the patient or the client or whatever you want to call us.
It's just like you said, sometimes it's not, you think maybe it's just about the physical, but it's not. It's about the emotional support and care as well.
Exactly. And I make it a point to be there for the other clients, because I have a giving nature anyway, My wife will tell you that, but I mean, I give too much. But anyway, I make it a point to care for the other clients, especially the ones that I feel the need to make friends with. And that's another thing. There's no such thing at PACE that I've found in 9 years as racial discrimination, or other kinds of discrimination, we're family. We're family. And those who have been there for a period of time, they will tell you that, you know.
Steve, how has it made life better for you, and in what aspects?
I'll tell you in every aspect, because I don't have to make doctor's appointments and wait 2 or 3 months before I get seen. If I'm at the activity center and I'm feeling bad, the clinic is right across the hall. You know, I can go get checked out. I have a relationship with the medical staff, and I love them all. I mean, I love what they do for a person who is getting older, a person, even though I don't like to admit it, I'm getting older, and a person who can't take care of themselves, even though I don't like to admit it. But you know,
it's a good balance. You still
Yeah.
feel like you have a sense of independence, but then the care that you need or support that you may need when
Right.
you need it is
right,
there.
right. And the thing about it is, you know, like I said, I like caring for other people. I like to feel like that my being there is helping someone else who is also there. And you know.
Yeah, we're seeing some video there of the residences. So what is it like to be living there?
Well, I don't live there.
Right, sorry, or take part in it, excuse me, yes.
It's perfect. It's perfect because it gives you an opportunity to do things that you wouldn't do at home. You know, even though being at home is important and is, you know, I like being at home too, but at the same time, it gives you the opportunity to join in on the activities, to help with the activities, and I find that the activities is an important part of the program because it keeps the mind busy.
Right.
It keeps you busy, keeps you thinking, it keeps you doing things, rather than just sitting home and feeling sorry for yourself.
And you have the social aspect of it too
Of
there.
course,
yeah.
of course, of course.
So for anyone who may be watching this morning who's thinking about taking part in the program, what would be your message to them?
Come on. 2 words, come on. Because I haven't seen anything that would make anybody not want to be there. And of course there's little problems with everything, but you can't live without having a little problem. So you straighten out the problems and you keep going. So I love it. I love it. You know, as a matter of fact, I get kind of upset when I can't go.
Wow.
You know, so yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way.
What are some of your favorite, I guess, activities or services that PACE provides?
Well, some of my favorite is being that I am a minister. You know, I enjoy Bible study. I enjoy talking about things that are spiritual. I enjoy helping people, even praying for people. I enjoy all that. I enjoy, you know, I enjoy being a part of PACE, period. Even the food. The food, the breakfast, the lunch, you know, even you know, if I need an x-ray and I'm at home, they'll send people to the house to give me an, you know, it's.
What I guess when it comes to the PACE program, what are some of the things that maybe surprised you about it that you didn't know about going in?
Surprise me.
The food, maybe?
No, that didn't surprise me because I'm a cook too. But surprises. Did I really have any surprises?
It just
Yeah,
seems like
yeah. I was surprised that everybody was so loving and willing to give you care and willing to not be hypocritical about it. You know, so I enjoy the genuine nature, especially the staff. The staff is gorgeous. They're beautiful. You know, the healthcare staff, the people that are just there, the aides and whatnot. I have not had one problem. So, and maybe that's just me, but yeah, I find out that, you know, I like going. I like going. I go 3 days a week now, and then I enjoy it.
All right. Well, Steve, thank you so much for your time this morning. And I think if anyone out there was maybe considering it, you definitely gave them a lot of positive things to think
I
about
hope so.
this morning. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this. Thank you for making us a part of your morning. As always, we encourage you to be part of our discussion each and every Sunday right here at 10 a.m. Until then, you can watch this morning's On the Record and every episode on our website, WPBF.com, and on our free WPBF 25 News app. Have a wonderful Sunday, and we'll see you here again next weekend.